Welcome back everyone to the Complete Pineleaf. Last time we had a little session play with Gollum where he made his plans on what to do with Frodo and Sam. Of course, Gandalf doesn't quite know what Gollum is up to, at least not yet.
In my heart, I guessed that Frodo and Gollum would meet before the end.
I knew that they would meet, but I hope that Frodo does not trust blindly. If he remains alert to the possibility of deceit, perhaps he can prevent it before it leads our friends to harm. Or has it already done so? It has been 2 weeks since they left Hennethanoon, and still there has been no word. If they fell prey to some treachery of Gollum's, surely we would have heard by now. Kirith Ungol. I should not have given in to these fears, Pineleaf. The ring remains out of Sauron's grasp. Let that buoy our hearts and allay some of our worries. For if Frodo were betrayed to Sauron, I feel certain that the Dark Lord would make use of the ring at once, and we would know that the end had arrived. That has not happened. The ring and Frodo have not been seized by the Dark Lord. Every step that Frodo takes towards the fire kindles our hopes. Well, 2 weeks. A great deal has happened in those 2 weeks, that's for sure. Right, Aragorn?
My thoughts are also with Frodo and Sam.
Yes, I fear for Frodo and Sam's safety in the company of Gollum, but I agree with Mithrandir that they still must be alive, for we would know if Sauron had the ring. But my reasoning is not that of the wizard. I traveled with Frodo and Sam for almost 4 months, and we had many adventures and braved many dangers. And even after so many shared hardships, I think Master Gamgee has only just begun to warm up to me, and I perhaps did not yet entirely trust this Strider. He will not take his eyes off of Gollum, even if Frodo perhaps will. I don't think Gollum will be able to take advantage of our Samwise, even if he thinks that he can. They will be fine, as much as any might be, whose misfortune is to journey in the Black Land. Well, yeah, that is a bit of a misfortune to be in there.
This is likely to be our last battle.
It is our misfortune that we must march to the Black Gate with little hope of our own survival. So many good men have placed their lives in my hands, trusting that the course is important. I believe that it is, but it is but it does not make the burden of that choice any lighter. Some of my kinsmen are deep in thought, contemplating the roads that led them to here, while they ready themselves for the road to come. Will you speak with some of them and put into words their grateful how I am for all that they have done? This is likely to be our last battle, and I want them to know that I appreciate their service, not only as their captain or their king, but also as their friend and kinsman. This may be my last chance to tell them so, and I don't want to miss this opportunity. So I need to speak to various people, or I should say various members of the Grey Company, all throughout here. We need to begin with Lothrandir, who is off in this direction. And he is looking... Ah! Someone that we met at Forhel. As you approach, Lothrandir surfaces from his thoughts of home.
Our journey has been full of hardship.
Once I spoke to you of my travels, Pineleaf, of my adventures in the wooded lands of Enedwise and of the rocky heights of Thor's Coombe, but they are dwarfed now by the memory of these last few weeks. From the dungeons of Isengard to the fighting of the Pelennor, our journey has been full of hardship. My mind turns now to my home, as Surikala in Forhel. I don't think that I will see it again, but I'm at ease knowing that I have done what I can for the snowmen, and they will persevere as they have always done. I will follow Aragorn wherever he leads. Alright, now we have next Roddenir. He is an elf. Looks like he was thinking of an elf.
We have been through a lot together, and most of it was unpleasant.
I am not complaining. Not really. If it was to be easy, it would not have been a Dunedain task to face it. I said as much to Elswith once, but she has gone away and will never return. Do you think that the folk of Middle-earth will appreciate anything that Aragorn has done? I don't expect our names to be remembered, but if there is any justice, Aragorn will be remembered fondly and well by the people of Gondor and Rohan at least. Well, I can tell you for sure that the people of Peligir will be remembering him fondly under his name of Thorongil. It seems there will be no peaceful tavern for us at the end of this road, Pineleaf. After everything that we've gone through, I suppose I'm not really surprised. Now, let's see who's next. Coronir. Who's he thinking of? Golidir, perhaps? Because Golidir is often on his mind, I think. Where's he at? There's Coronir, and he seems to be thinking of Mordorith? Looks like Mordorith. Hi there. I watched the departure of the faint-hearted Pineleaf, and I felt no scorn for them, though there was a time in my life when I might not have understood their choice. I see that their path, too, was to the service of the host of the West. Our own road takes us to Mordor, for we have the courage to go that way. I am not afraid of Mordor or its Black Gate. Neither am I afraid of the Dark Lord or his armies. I am not afraid of Mordorith, no matter what he names himself. I am not afraid of death, for I have lived a life enriched by friendship and laughter, and I know that endings must always come, soon or late. I am made strong by the love of my friends and the memories I carry with them, and no orc or wraith or beast can conquer that strength. At long last I am at peace, Pineleaf. I will follow Aragorn to the end, with an unburdened heart, and that means, of course, that I started this quest too early, because he spoke of the departure of the faint of heart, and while we started discussing the faint of heart in an earlier episode when we were at Henethanoon, I believe the actual Faint of Heart quest is still to come in this camp. So I think I am not going to go to Aragorn, I guess I better go to Callanglad, simply because as soon as I pass near him, it is going to show me his thoughts. And I don't want to break that. So, it'll come when it comes. I'll talk to him whenever I pass by him next time. So right now what I need to do is I want to speak to other people for the quests in this area, so I can take care of the Faint of Heart before I go too much further. What do you say, Éomer?
We must continue this fight in honor of our fallen.
Pineleaf, may I ask a favor of you? Old tales among my people tell of a time before we settled in Rohan. We called ourselves the Aelthea then, and Guthloff believed it was through this land that our ancestors came, down from the Vale of Anduin, all the way to the Rittermark, where we saw the goodness of the land and made our home. While you are out assisting the rangers in the Nomad lands, will you keep an eye out for any intact sign of remnant of the forebears of the Rohirrim? It should mean much to possess such pieces of our distant past. Now, that of course is not something I want to do. I'll do that later on. So it looks like, yes, we've got a mixture of quests for the faint-hearted and quests going out. Either that or I missed a very important quest somewhere. I haven't found any new quests yet, though I have found Calanglad, who seems to be thinking of a certain blue water spirit. Hi there. Have you ever broken a promise, Pineleaf? I have sought to live my life with honor, making good upon the promises and the oaths that I have taken. I swore an oath to aid Aragorn, my chief, in all things, and I have done it the best that I could. That oath has taken me far from my home and the very doorstep of Mordor. But my heart remains on the shores of Lake Nenuel. I promised to return when my duty to the Southlands was done, but it does not seem that any of us will return after all. What were the words of Gwyneth? That the return of Elendil's kingdom would be worth some measure of sorrow? Does she speak the truth? I don't know. Even now. Well, I have to return to Aragorn at some point. Probably for several things. Well, as soon as I find him. There you go. Ah, yeah, there is Aragorn right there, who of course who's thinking of Arwen. What else would he be thinking of, right? Yeah, alright. Well, now that I've broken his thoughts of Arwen, it's time for me to look for those other quests. I couldn't find any new quests on this matter, so I'm going to go back to Aragorn and see what I can do for him.
None of us are free of worry, but still we move forward.
We move forward in spite of those feelings. That is all that we can do. That is what we must do. Alright?
I will give the order for the host of the West to begin its march.
I'll give the order, but I need you to go forward in the vanguard, leading the way and making safe our passage, like I always do. The foes arrayed against us have been commanded to let us pass, but I won't be surprised if the more ambitious among their number thinks to increase their own fame or notoriety by slowing our progress. Defeat these foes and any other beasts that threaten, and look to Langlas in the ruin of Harandir, northeast of here. He will know where else to scout in advance of the host. Once you have aided Langlas, rejoin us north near the Black Gate, and we will prepare for the final throw. Well, it'll take you a while to mobilize, so let me see what these other quests are all about. Yes, Pineleaf. With such a journey ahead, I count myself and this host fortunate as to have you at my side. Yet, my thoughts stray back to Minas Tirith, and to those that we left behind. Many dear friends and strangers alike now fight their own battles against the illness and injury. It was with great sadness that I could not tend to them all, but the greater matters of the Dark Lord and the Ring-Bearer's hidden quest have called me away. I know not if I shall ever return to Minas Tirith, and I worry for the fates of those we left behind if I fall in our final gambit. Do you remember the master herbalist that we encountered during my brief time in the city? The one called Galathier? He was unfit for his post and could have caused a great harm to those in his care, but I had not the means to send him from the houses of healing, not without declaring myself. I ask that you return to the houses of healing in Minas Tirith. Well, this is probably going to be some time before you're ready to mobilize everyone if you're sending me there before sending me out. And speak with the healer, Eoreth. Ensure that she keeps Galathier's ruinous tinctures from the wounded, and have her by my eyes in the high hall. She will heed my words, even if they are delivered in my stead. You are one of the swiftest riders among the ranks, and I entrust you with this alone. Go with haste, my friend. Once you have returned, we can continue planning our course into the wastes. Right. And what's this other quest? Just in case anything else is in there. Pineleaf. Oh, well, actually, this... No, I'll say that one for later because we'll encourage people later. Right now, let's go to Minas Tirith. Ah, I have found Eoreth. You have come with a request to the king? Whether he claims that title or not, I know him for what he is. He has the hands of a healer, and none but a king could work king's foil into such a potent medicine, and I would know. Still, it troubles me that he has grown concerned about Galathier's methods, not precisely because I disagree, mind you, but because I did not think it would be so plainly obvious. I cannot send Galathier away, but I can help prevent him from treating any more of the wounded from Eversworth. It is the least that I could do for my king. However, there may be other matters of concern regarding Galathier and his new apprentice. Oh, what is that? Do not misunderstand me, Pineleaf. Galathier still possesses great skill as a healer, but he has lost sight of his shortcomings. In my long years in Minas Tirith and Imlath Melui, I have never found a shortage of new skills to learn and new drafts or tinctures to use in my work, from new trial and old lore alike. But Galathier has grown reliant on his own concoctions for his patients, and where one ill is healed, another one often takes its place. He has taken on a new apprentice, a young woman by the name of Milgamil. The poor girl has no idea what she might receive such misguided instructions. It is one matter for a certain draught or salve to seem the clear choice, and quite another to entirely for it to truly be so. Indeed, there are many uses for Everworth, Trueleaf, Snakebane, uh, Everblade, Settlegang. That's quite a list there, isn't it? For all names. Recalling that you have a certain urgency in your task, your alert trails off and pauses briefly. Yes, I have heard tell that Milgamil shall soon come make for Ithilien. Perhaps you would accompany her on her journey back to the king's side, and while you do, help her to see all that she can learn there, and not only that which Galathier has proclaimed she would see. For they say that place was once the gardens of all Gondor, and what forgotten herb or herb lore may await there, just as when I told Mithrandir the old saying that the hands of a king yeah, but I am not needed. Yes. Talk to Galathier and convince him of your worth to the task, and then speak to the apprentice. We shall make a great healer of her yet. Alright, I shall speak with this apprentice. An apprentice's guide to Ithilien. Hello there, sir. Do you have a moment?
We can only hope that the Rohirrim will arrive before it's too late.
I believe they've already arrived and that battle is over. I think your message is dated, sir. Anyway, what do you want? Can you not see that there are still many near death and in need of tending? Even my healers are taking ill from lack of rest. If idle chatter is your wish, be gone. If you have need of my ear, speak! So, you've heard that I'm sending my apprentice off, have you? No matter. You know of her task. Certain herb stores vital to the most trusty medicine dwindles near to nothing. If if these can be found where the herbalist long dared not tread, then she must take a thorough harvest. Mind you, I don't wish Milgamel distracted by any strange roots and leaves we have no use for, and which might prove harmful in the extreme. You will find Milgamel in the houses of remedies, ready to write to Athelian. She knows her course, Warden, so keep her from harm. I cannot afford the loss of another healer. Now, leave me. Okay. Ah, here is Milgamel. What will she be like? Will she be a great healer someday? Or is she going to be like her master? We have to find that out in the next episode of The Complete Pineleaf.